skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port-in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. This show is all about life transformations and our journey from where we were to why we are doing what we are doing today. We will discuss the hiccups, the roller coasters, and the blood, sweat, and tears that has been poured out while discovering our purpose. It is all about our transformations. Here is your host, Sean Douglas.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Life Transformation Radio. I am your host, Master Resilience Implementer, TEDx speaker, business positioning strategist, and author, Sean Douglas. This show is currently heard in over 63 countries, such as the U.S., Sweden, Canada, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, Malaysia, and a whole host of other countries. So I want to thank you to those who are currently listening from wherever you are. Life transformation is all about our transformations. Here is where we tell the stories of why we're doing what we're doing. We highlight that transformational moment that has changed our lives and how we use this to help transform others and elevate their lives as well. You can listen to us live right here on Blog Talk Radio at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the platform Blog Talk Radio. You can join our Facebook community, Life Transformation Radio, and I ask that you subscribe, rate, and review the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, Player FM, Radio Public, Overcast, CastBox, the Google Play Music app, wherever you're comfortable listening to podcasts. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show. On the show, I have entrepreneurs, speakers, business owners, other coaches and podcasters, and authors that are amazing at what they do and the impact that they create. And my guest today does exactly that. If you have any questions for any of my guests that I bring on the show during our live broadcast, you can call us up at 657-383-1109. Again, the number 657-383-1109. My team is standing by right now to field your calls and to get them on the show. So please help me welcome to Life Transformation Radio, my friend, Scott Carson. What's up, buddy?
What's going on there, Shawnee?
I'm doing amazing. It's an amazing day. Amazing to have you on the show, man.
It's a beautiful day to be alive, man. It's just absolutely, no matter where you're at, if you're 6 feet above ground, it's a good day.
Dude, definitely. And I'm super pumped to have you on the show, man, because you are doing something that I think is so super niche. I mean, it's not just investing or the normal things that we hear about all the time, right? The wholesalers and the realtors and the investing and the flippers, and that, like, you are like super niche, and I love it. So I want to dive right into it, man. This episode is called The Note Closers with Scott Carson. Scott Carson, the AKA Note Guy, has been an active real estate investor since 2002 and solely focused on the note industry since 2008, where he buys and sells non-performing mortgages directly from the banks and hedge funds from banks all across the country. Scott is the CEO of WeCloseNotes.com and the creator of the Note Buying for Dummies workshop that focuses on the 3 F's of note buying: the find, fund, and flip. He has purchased over $500 million in distressed debt for his own portfolio and purchased assets in over 30 states across the United States. He is a highly sought-after speaker on distressed debt and was a 2014 Note Educator of the Year. He has also been featured in the media, including but not limited to Investors Business Daily, The Wall Street Journal, and Inc.com. He has also helped thousands of other real estate investors come to the sexy side of investing by plunging into the world of NPNs or non-performing notes and looking to rehab the borrower. Scott is also the host of the popular show Note Closers Show podcast. Go check it out. Subscribe to the Note Closers Show podcast. It is absolutely phenomenal. You will learn everything you want to know about note closing. An avid sports fan and reader, you can find him home in Austin, Texas, when he isn't buying assets for his own portfolio or sharing his love of the note game. You can check out his podcast right there at WeCloseNotes.com. Look at the Note Closers Show podcast. Click on the link. Subscribe to the show. Dude, I got to ask you, man, why note closing? Like, what is your deep, deep why for what you do?
Oh, man. Well, it goes back to over a decade ago where I was actually a deadbeat borrower. Okay? I had gotten out of college, gotten married. Me and my now ex-wife had bought our house, and we were watching Flip This House and all those great shows and decided we were going to be real estate investors. And we bought a couple properties, and then I got laid off from my job as a financial advisor. And you go from, trying to have 2 rental properties in your primary residence to where you're now paying 6 mortgages, 3 firsts, 3 seconds on a private school teacher salary.
Whoa.
Yeah. I was really in a bad place in 2002, 3, and the start of 2004. Luckily for me, was able to get rid of 2 of the investment properties, got our assets out of a sling, and was able to kind of move on back with what I did. And fortunately for me, a few years later, I met a couple now mentors of mine that taught me how to buy distressed debt. They taught me the note, the naughty note game or buying defaulted mortgage game for a couple of years. And then in 2008, when everything hit the fan, not only buying notes, but also owned a mortgage company, I left my mortgage company, gave it to my partner, and then just started buying distressed debt. And I have a real big empathy for trying to help borrowers stay in their house because I was one of them, like I said, 14 years ago.
Wow. So you not only buy, right? But I mean, you literally rehab the borrower. Like it's not just, got your stuff. Like you want to make it so that not only is maybe the property profitable, whatever, but they are as well. Like they get what they need in the process. Is that right?
That's totally correct, Sean. So we focus, we always look at the real estate. I'm a real estate investor at the heart. I'll tell you that there. I've done it fixed and flipped homes and been a landlord and, focus on REOs and short sales and done all that as well. But our biggest goal when we buy the debt, and the fact that we buy the debt, we actually become the bank with these borrowers. And we, I guess we buy all across the country. And every borrower not making their mortgage payment has their own country western song. You know what I mean? And so we really focus on the fact that we buy this debt from banks and hedge funds at a substantial discount gives us some really nice flexibility to be able to really work out some win-win scenarios. And if the borrower has a job, they're working, and they can, we'd like to try to get them, if they can start making their existing payments, great, let's get them started all back on that path to home ownership and help them, take that dream of home ownership, which is what a lot of people, dream about. That's turned into a nightmare for a lot of people. We like to flip that around, try to get them back on that right path and really turn a bad situation into a good situation by keeping them in the house. And it actually works out best for us too. If they stay in a house and they're taking care of the house, somebody's living in it, the air conditioner's staying there, the copper goblins aren't showing up, the lawn's being mowed, I don't have to pay as much toward attorney fees to foreclose. I can keep them in the house, and that's what I want. I want the cash flow. I don't want to deal with toilets and tenants. I want to be a bank, and that's what I am when I buy the note. I become the bank, and I have a lot of flexibility to really help these borrowers transform their lives. And so being so stressed out and worrying about the other shoe to drop, we can become their best friends. But hey, I don't understand. You've been through a bad situation. You went through a divorce or being laid off or got sick or whatever it might be. You want to stay in the house? Let's work out a payment plan that makes sense, and then we go from there.
Right. So is what you do different than say like tax lien sales, or like, because I've heard people do like tax sales or tax liens, or they buy from either the county or city tax office or whatever. Is it similar, a little bit different?
It is similar in the fact is that they are buying a lien. They're buying a tax lien, and a tax lien comes senior to everything. And every state has a little bit different animal on what that tax lien investor gets. I mean, they're going to be paying the full taxes, and their hope is that the borrowers or the banks don't make them whole on their taxes, so they can take the property back, or it goes to tax auction, and they get paid, fully to get fully reimbursed for what they paid for taxes plus a nice return on investment. Nothing wrong with that. We have a lot of people that do that with our students, but the fact that we're buying the first lien, we're often buying to control the property. We'll often pay the taxes off to avoid a tax foreclosure or somebody buying the tax lien. And our goal is we're usually buying around 50 cents of value and usually around 30 to 40 cents of what's owed. So it gives us a tremendous flexibility to pay those taxes off, pay the HOA, do whatever we need to do to keep the property up to par and work with the homeowners.
Very interesting. Wow. What I like about that is that you like you said, you want to keep them in the house, and get that positive cash flow,
Yep.
rather than, because I know a lot of flippers. There's all kinds of, people in the real estate industry, but you literally, as I get to know you and what you do more, you literally encompass everything that you teach and everything that you say and everything that you do. You want the people in the house. You want to transform their lives. You want to transform the property. You want to it's a whole big process. It's not just investing in a real estate and then, figuring out how to make it profitable by, selling, flipping, like that one dimensional way. I love how you transform the whole concept.
Yeah, there's about 10 different exit strategies that we work with when we buy distressed note. And so every deal goes a different route. And the beautiful thing is I'm not doing all the, I want to make it clear this for the audience, I'm not the one making all the phone calls to the borrowers. I'm not the one reaching out to the borrowers. We have vendors that do that for us, that we basically dictate to them, okay, this is what I want to do with this asset. Or reach out to them, send a door knocker out, and then a door knocker comes back, or they get a hold of the borrower. Here's what the borrower would like to do. Okay, does those numbers make sense? Great. If it makes sense, let's roll with it. Unfortunately, we're really still only able to help 65% of the borrowers on the notes that we buy, because a third of people just don't open their email. Don't open their mail. They don't answer the door. They just tell the banks to go pound sand, and so we do have to foreclose a chunk of the time. It's unfortunate. I'd love to try to keep everybody in their houses if we can, but I don't run a charity. I donate to charities, but if I've got so many people that we've been able to help them stay in their house. People that had kids, they raised their kids for 18 years in the house, or a single mom who's just trying to make ends meet, or an elderly lady who is on a fixed income, and we're working to keep her in the house and not have to put her in a home or anything like that. So we've got so many case studies of borrowers that we've helped in some sort of fashion. And then we have also others that, didn't need to own a home. They were glad to walk away from the home, so we paid them cash for keys so they could walk, and they went on their merry way and got rid of a bad situation for them to move into something that's new that makes more sense for them.
No kidding. So you actually bought that. I was like, hey, man, we'll just buy you out, give me the keys, and they're like, see ya.
Yeah. Definitely. They're like, oh, I don't want this. Okay, great. We'll give you $500. Can you, meet my attorney or meet my realtor? Can you leave the house and slip it? I get letters from borrowers all the time. I have one borrower that had lived in a house for 18 years, raised her kids, been trying to do a loan modification for 4 years. Her mortgage has been sold 4 times. When we bought it at such a cheap discount price, and I got the whole loan file. So I can see that she's tried to do a loan modification. I see all the hardship letters, the short sale files. I see all this stuff comes to me. So in one phone call, I make the borrower. We're able to negotiate a modification. We adjusted her payment sum. I was willing to forgive her some of her back payments so that she'd have the house paid off in just less than 6 years versus 20 years. And she'd be a homeowner, actually own it outright. And she was so excited. I get this long email. I guess her husband cried when he met with my attorney. about 6 months after we closed on this deal with them in rock and roll, I got a letter from them that her daughter was pregnant, and they named the daughter Carson after me.
Oh my God! You got a kid named after him. That's awesome. I've never heard that. That's awesome. So they named a kid. That is forever, like forever yours, man. Like you transformed someone's life to the point that they named their kid after you. That is transformation, my brother.
We've met with borrowers too that they've been laid off and they just need some help, and we help people all the time. Like, people lose their jobs, and most people are one missed paycheck away from being behind their mortgage. We unfortunately live in a very uneducated financial society out there, and if they've missed their been out of work and they're 6 months behind on the mortgage payment, the bank wants them to pay the whole thing. They can't come up with it, and then sometimes they just need somebody to talk to. Somebody just needs to give them a hand out. Like, I can't pay the 12 months I'm behind on, but I can pay you 2 months now and start paying a little bit extra each month. And we're willing to do that. Unfortunately, a lot of the bigger banks or the hedge funds, they don't want that. They don't want to work with the homeowners. But we're small enough that we're able to be agile like that, be able to work some situations out that really do create win-wins, like I mentioned before. But one of the great things that we're also doing is really, with our students and a lot of our investors that are learning how to do this, they're transforming their lives. They're leaving their job, something they hate doing, to do something that they enjoy full time, to be an investor, or they're doing this on a side gig and they're making an extra $1,000 a month on the side in cash flow, or they don't have a retirement plan and they don't know how they're going to do it, and so we're able to structure some deals that start bringing in cash flow to them on a monthly basis so that they can retire. It's a fun thing. Every day's a journey. Everything's a lot of fun here in the office because you never know who we're going to help. Never know what crazy story we're going to have happen. And don't get me wrong, we've got bad days too. I'm not going to make it sound like it's all rose petals and rainbows coming out of my ass. But I'm foreclosing on a couple people right now that we would have modified the loan a year ago. But they just played shenanigans with us. They lied to us. They bounced checks. They wouldn't answer phone calls. And so I'm tired of the shenanigans that we're just, hey, no, you had your opportunity. Now's the time for us to be serious about this. You had the opportunity to be an adult. You wanted to play games. Unfortunately, I'm not a game player.
Right. Wow. So currently we close notes. Currently, you said 30 states. Is it concentrated in a certain area, or do you only buy in certain areas, or how do you decide where you're going to get these from?
That's a really great question. So I live in Austin, Texas. Hook 'em horns, big fan of Austin, lived here for years. But it's overpriced. I don't buy much in California. California's overpriced. I've bought a lot in Florida the last few years, but that's come back strong, is almost overpriced. So our markets have changed over the years. I used to be very heavy on Florida, 10 years ago. In the last couple of years, I'm buying a lot in Ohio, buying a lot in Michigan, buying a lot in Indiana. Mm-hmm. We look at the primary markets, and I also look at secondary markets in those states, because it's, any city that's got a population of really over 25 to 50,000 people, we'll look at buying, because there's enough of a population there for attorneys if we need to foreclose, or realtors to help us do with the due diligence, or actual buyers of that asset if we have to take it back, or workout specialists or rehab crews if we need to fix it. So we try to avoid the really small rural or the houses on the outside of town. We want to be in town for the most part, but that's where it rolls. I mean, I get lists from banks and hedge funds on a regular basis. They'll have stuff all across the country, and it just depends on what kind of pricing they're looking for, how far in default the borrower is. We also look at foreclosure time frames for a state. I won't buy in New York or New Jersey because it takes forever there to foreclose. So
that's something that people would need to know too.
Yeah. So Texas is fast. We do everything fast here in Texas. We got fast highways, fast foreclosures, and fast executions. And then you look at Florida, which is 12 months, for God's waiting room. And then you have 3 years in like New York and New Jersey, where you got to hire an attorney to talk to an attorney to have an attorney there. Yeah. So each state has its perks, and those that are faster to foreclose on, they're more expensive to buy for the most part.
Right.
But I will tell you this, we went through a big downturn 10 years ago, and the market's rebounded strong in a lot of places. I am not so happy. I'm not so happy in what the future looks like. I think we're going to see another downturn, another transformation take place in the next 12 to 24 months. So.
Really?
Yeah. And
wow.
The economic factors that you look at, like I track default rates, and not only default rates on mortgages, which are up. Florida, Texas are leading the country. Part of that's because of the hurricane, but we also look at defaulted debt on student loans. Auto debt is at a high. Credit card debt default rates are all-time high. We have this whole wave of bad debt out there that's just not mortgages. And then you look at what's going on in the mortgage market right now with there's more and more lenders coming back, and they're no longer doing subprime loans, Sean. They are now doing non-prime loans. It's the same shit, just a different name.
Oh, wow.
And
right.
We're gonna see another repeat. Maybe not as bad. Hopefully not as bad, but we're gonna see another repeat of what happened, and that's going to be very transformational for a lot of people, good and bad.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I get what you're saying, and I think there's a misconstrued metric there. And the reason I say that is because 2-3 years ago, Obama said, we will forgive your student debt. We'll start forgiving this. We'll start doing this. We'll do some buybacks. We'll do that. And so I think, and this is just my opinion, maybe that is when people started, like, the whole forgiveness thing. Like, I'm just going to pay my stuff. Like, I just won't pay my stuff. Because it's going to be forgiven anyways. I just won't pay my stuff. Do you think that maybe had something to do with it, with the spike in – because student debt alone, student debt is almost $1 billion, or it's actually more than that. I think it's almost $1 trillion. It's like 989 billion or something like that. Last time I checked, it was almost as much as the national debt. Like, it was like ridiculous for student debt, And then you look at the other debt, like you said, bad debt like credit cards and car loans and stuff like that. With the uptick in the economy, that's what people are doing. Like, I'll just get a car loan. I'll get this. And then once everything goes back to what it was at a super high level, everybody's like, crap. How do I do?
I wish I could agree with you, but it goes on longer than that. I mean, we've had an increase in this stuff across the board. America is a society built on credit, and unfortunately we don't have the education to go along with it. And we're already starting – when you start seeing those backup plans to finance their vacations, or you finance Christmas, because those are the 2 times a year people are going to use their credit cards for sure. Christmas and vacation. The credit card companies know this, okay? And then you also have too many people going to school for degrees that aren't going to pay to cover their student loans.
Correct.
It's been going on for a while. It's not just Obama. I mean, we had a joke about default rates with Obama with the mortgage industry. Oh, yeah, Obama's going to save me. No, he isn't, okay? Obama's come and gone.
Right. Right.
60%. This is the way that it's hitting the market. It's continuing. I see it every day, increasing defaults across the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you said something earlier. So 60%, there's a statistic, because I'm just not a proponent of college. I'm just not. You can go out and get a trade on a 1-year deal in like ITT or something, or like an actual like technical institute. Like, you go to like Wyotech and go get a diesel mechanics, certification after a year at Wyotech for like 20 or 25,000 or whatever, and be making $100,000 like automatically. Diesel mechanics are so high in demand, right? So
yeah, I would totally agree with that. I got a buddy that works for Caterpillar. He could hire 20 people right now and train them for 2 years to have them making $125,000 a year, and you can never find anybody go into it. But you have a lot of those. You got to be careful about ITT Tech. ITT Tech got shut down.
Did they?
They got shut down.
I know.
For just being a diploma factory,
Oh, sure, yeah.
And not providing people with jobs. Because I'm not saying that all the universities, but there's a lot of those universities out there that are just cycling people through as diploma factories and no work history and stuff like that. But it all comes down to when you look at it, if you're going to borrow to go to school, is the job you're going to get going to pay for you to get out? That's the first transformation most people get out of. Is either they get out of high school and they figure out, what the hell am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to go be a counselor. Well, to make really money as a counselor, you got to get a master's degree or a doctorate, and then you got to run up $100,000 in debt till you be making $50,000 a year. Those things don't make sense. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. So 60% of the people that have degrees are not using them in the degree field that they got them in.
Wow.
That sucks.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That
sucks. I always look at the college. It was like, well, how can you say that college? And how can let me Google some stuff. And literally, you just Google like what's the percentage of people that graduate and don't use the degree? What's the percentage of people that are in debt? What is the percentage of students? Because mommy and daddy didn't buy everything, So what's the percentage of students that are in debt? So you're asking a 22-year-old kid to manage this debt because that debt technically isn't due until you graduate and like a whole host of stuff, right? But then all of a sudden, boom, you get hit with all the interest payments, like right off the bat. You graduated, boom, drop the payments, and you got a kid just trying to probably get married, right? So there's some more debt, and then buy a house because newlyweds have a house, some more debt. And then a couple of years later, you got to have kids. There's some more debt. And then on top of the student loan, my brother-in-law and my sister are paying off their student loans from 20 years ago. They're still paying it off. I'm like, dude, that's like a house. You should own the degree by now. And they're just not using their degree right now.
Well, but you brought up a real point. They're getting hit with student loan debts. They got credit cards. They need a car. And with the increased cost of real estate in a lot of the attractive markets like in California, Florida, other areas, homes are unaffordable, so people are moving back in with their parents, or they're cohabitating. Move in with other people to split a house or to rent a house and go that route. You would think that people could make their mortgage payments on those aspects, but what it comes down to is a lot of property values are just so extreme. They're so overpriced. They're really pricing out the middle class and the lower class. Those people just can't afford it because the jobs aren't there. They're not educated enough to get a job that makes them six figures to be able to afford a one-bedroom loft in San Francisco. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you what, man.
But that's why we like the different parts of the country, like the Midwest, or the Big Ten, or the Pac. Not the Pac-12, the Big Ten, the Southeast Conference parts of the United States. You still have really affordable real estate. And people are flocking to those jobs. Like Columbus is growing. Columbus, Ohio is growing dramatically. Detroit is coming back strong. And those two areas were hit extremely hard 10 years ago. I was buying property in Detroit for like $500 a lot years ago.
Yeah. So that's where I'm from. So I just want to point out something that maybe people didn't see this or know what just happened here, but Scott just described the United States according to the football conference, rather than like the South or the Eastern Seaboard or the Midwest, wherever. He's like, I like Pac-12 states and, SEC. And like, you described the country according to the football conferences. That was just amazing.
Well, it's one of the best ways to describe when people ask where we buy. We just say that. Okay, we'll buy. Like in the Big Ten, that's Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, except for Crook County. Don't buy in Chicago. That's one of our caveats. Don't buy in Chicago.
I just want to say, just don't go to Chicago. Just, I don't know.
It's a great place to visit. You just don't want to buy there.
Right? So I went to San Diego last year, and, I landed at the airport. I was getting the Uber. I was driving down, I'm just like, kind of like I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting kind of like a Beverly Hills thing, like everything's so rich and whatever. And the Uber driver's like, oh yeah, it's like $1 million houses. I'm like, where? Like the houses are bigger in North Carolina than they are in San Diego. And in North Carolina, it's like 200, 225, 250 $1 million house in San Diego. I'm like, how? Like, how is that possible? But I guess it's just based on population and where they live. And
it's also the fact is that they have lack of inventory. You also have nice 75-degree weather most days. You also have the fact that it's the land of fruit and nuts, and with all the droughts, the fruit has dried up, so you just have nuts living there now in California.
This is true. Awesome, man. So let's move across to how do you, because I see that you have like the workshops and the podcast, and so what is it that you do that elevates people's lives to the next level?
That's such a great question. So one of the things I think is that the real estate investing community has kind of a bad rap. There's a lot of people out there that are going out and selling workshops that really aren't worth the paper that they're written on. People signing up for huge coaching programs, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and it's not being delivered anything except a bag of books that goes on a shelf to collect dust for the most part. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I promised myself years ago when I was first learning how to do this, I had a very great, I had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to have these mentors that really taught me the business, and I promised myself, hey, God, if you get me out of this bad situation and I'm able ever to make it, I promise I'm going to give back and help others get there as well. And so that's what we do. We teach workshops. I'm a big guy that loves to give the true nuts and bolts. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass.
Right.
I'm going to tell you exactly like it is. I'm going to give you the tools, and it's up to you whether you want to work or be lazy, And
yep.
I'm one of these guys that will show you exactly what we do. I open the book. Here's what I do here. Here's how I call. Like last night, I did a webinar, and I was showing people exactly what I was typing in an email to 5,000 asset managers, so they could go do the same thing too, And that's one of the big things is I like the fact that we do these workshops. I've been teaching since 2010 on what I do. It's an honor to be the Educator of the Year a few years back, but we have also transformed it in the last couple of years where we do everything online, and we've really embraced the online, the online webinars or online live stream events to really help affect more people in a much bigger audience. Those that couldn't travel out across the country to an event, who can't go to a hotel, but they can learn from their computer, they can learn from their laptop, they can learn from their smartphone, and I think we've really started to revolutionize the education industry when it comes to real estate because we have embraced technology. Whereas a lot of the other people that are around, they love, hey, let's hold you hostage in a hotel for 3 days. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just that I just don't like that. I don't want to be pitched to death. I want somebody to give me really good information. I think the country is fed up with smoke screens and bullshit.
Yep.
Okay. And I just want to be exactly what here's what I do. If you don't like it, great. You don't have to stay. And that's why we've just really been passionate about helping people achieve great success. We have we've got a great mastermind group where those people are out closing not just like 1 or 2 deals, but 50 deals, 60 deals, 100 deals a year.
Wow.
And that's the thing that I get most excited about when I get 50, 60 people together in a room and I'm counting up the number of deals they've done. It's like over 2,000 assets that they've bought and either modified or taken back or really helped the neighborhoods out by buying the debt. That's mind-blowing, Sean. That's a much bigger cause than I ever could do myself, and
right.
These people are starting to speak and create investment clubs across the country to share the niche of note investing to those that are looking for deals, like the REO investors that can't find them, the lazy landlords, the fix and floppers, that's the thing. We have a movement really going that's transforming the real estate industry. It's still a very niche aspect. I'd say there's probably around 7,000 true really note investors compared to like 500,000 fix and flippers in the country, or 1 million plus.
Oh.
Right. And it's a longer term process with their deals, which gives you a little bit more investment on the deal on the front end. But that's the biggest thing is really seeing the success of our students and how that's really affecting more people than I ever do, just being Scott Carson.
Yeah. So you said something that kind of triggered me for a second there. Is I get mailers in my mail all the time. It's like, come to the event center and you can learn from the guys from Tuck and whatever.
Flipping Timbuktu or something like that, right?
Whatever that was. It was the guy and the girl who used to flip the houses in California, whatever, for like $400,000, and they got a divorce.
Fix or flop.
Crap.
Yeah. Fix or flop, whatever.
Yeah, it's like come up to fix or flop or flip or flop or whatever, and come out. It's not even them. It's like some dude who like works for them that wants to sell you into their coaching program, but you don't learn anything. When I was in San Antonio, Armando Montalongo used to send all kinds of stuff through the mail. Come, here's your tickets. It's right in the mail. You got an exclusive ticket, but like everyone in the neighborhood got the same flyer, but you got an exclusive ticket, And I told the wife before, man, I really like everything I read about investing comes back to real estate. Somebody told me the other day, they were like, dude, the rich people don't play with cash. Like, they buy houses. Like, they buy real estate. Like, the banks don't house their money. Real estate houses their money. Like, they deal in currency within houses, Airbnbs and all that other stuff. So I totally get the flyers and the weird snake oil salesman. Like, you can do exactly what, or the only reason I know about tax liens is because I used to be an alcoholic and I was up at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning listening to the old man go, buy my system for $69.99. 3 easy payments of $69.99, and we'll show. And I was like, what's a tax lien? So that's the only reason I know about it. But I did the research and I'm like, that's legit. So with that said, what is the barrier to entry into what you do? If I wanted to get started today and I wanted to buy a distressed debt or distressed note, or like what's my barrier to entry?
So you're not going to go down to your local bank and say, I want to buy your notes. That's the first thing people have to realize. You're not going to call Bank of America or Chase or Citibank and get somebody on the phone and say, I want to buy your notes. It just doesn't work that way. There are different departments in each institution that sell stuff off, and those big names aren't going to sell you anything below a $50 million check. So what you have to realize is a lot of people worry about, I don't have the cash or don't have the credit. You have to, honestly, you've got to be able to market in this business unlike anything else. You got to market to asset managers at banks, either through emails or just dialing for dollars. If you're worried about the capital, marketing to other IRA investors, people that have an IRA or a self-directed IRA, it's a great place to raise capital because those people have money, but they can't do anything with it. So I mean, there's $7 trillion in retirement funds sitting on the sideline making nothing. Okay.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And so there's a lot of money out there just waiting for you to give them a phone call to fund your deal, and you can pay them a good return or split the deal with them and go. There's a variety of ways to do it. So it's all about kind of getting educated more than anything else. I mean, this is why we've got 1,000 plus videos across YouTube and Vimeo. It's why we do video with our podcast and tackle different things so we can really help people, digest it, because buying notes is an elephant. It's a beast, dude. And how do you eat a beast? You do it one bite at a time and avoid the ass end. All right. And go from there. And so that's what it comes down to. Barriers to entry is you're not going to probably buy in your backyard most of the time. You got to realize that you're going to probably be buying a state or two or a couple states over. I mean, North Carolina is a great market. I buy there all the time. But for others like in Texas here, it's not really a great market for us. We got to buy in Michigan or Ohio or Missouri or other places. So that stops a lot of people because they want to go out and they want to feel it and touch it and rub it and hump on the property. They want to pick out paint and carpet because they see that on a show, and I hate that. I'm all about numbers. What's my ROI calculator look like? What's the deal look like it's going to hold? And then let's work with a borrower after we buy and go from there.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Yeah, I think it's very important that they know that you just can't walk into a bank and go, okay, let's see what you got. So very, very important. So
yeah, I mean, it's a lot of moving parts. I compare myself to like the Jerry Jones of note investing. I'm the general manager of my company. And so I direct my vendors, I direct my team. I mean, you can do this if you have a computer and Wi-Fi and a cell phone. You can do this business. It's made up of a lot of vendors. There's a servicing company that handles, reaching out to the borrowers. I have my attorneys that are foreclosing, but they still need me to direct them on what I want to have happen. Sure. I spend most of my time looking for new deals from different banks and hedge funds, and then raising private capital. And once to fund those deals. I mean, 90% of what we do is using other people's money to buy the thousands of deals that we've bought over the last decade. And so it's just important to keep that in mind, is that if you don't have the money, great. It actually, I think it works in your favor because you'll learn how to market. I don't care if you've got a bankruptcy or a foreclosure or divorce or whatever or you don't have credit. That's fine because we don't use credit with what we're doing. And it's it's all about the deal for the most part. And one big thing that I love to tell people, especially if they're new to real estate investing, is good deals will find money as long as you open your mouth and share what's going on and market it to your audience.
Very cool. It's a good piece of information to have. You can actually use that in different industries too. A lot of times we don't really know what people do. Like, oh, I didn't know you did websites, or I didn't know you did mentoring, or I didn't know you did speaking. Like, oh yeah, I totally do. Like, broadcast it out. Like, if you got real estate deals, call Scott. Like, it's pretty simple, put it out there. Tell people about it. Share it out. You said before that people are doing meetup groups and they're getting clubs together and memberships, and like it's becoming a thing. So yeah, man, hook up with people. Definitely put the word out. That's how
one thing,
Sean,
Sean,
people are going to know about you.
Right. One thing I really love, I love your show. I've been binging it since we met at New Media Summit. It seems it's hard to believe it's been almost 2 months ago, right? But
right.
Time flies. But what I loved about that thing was everybody was getting up and sharing what they were doing, their passion, their passion project. Unfortunately, society is the point where we have so many negative people around there that we're scared to get up and share our side hustle because we're afraid of people that will backlash or be jealous of the fact that we're actually we're working to transform ourselves, and they feel bad themselves, so they're going to throw shit and mud at us versus supporting us. And I always tell people, like, listen, if you've got good people around you, divide your audience, divide who you're around with into 3 groups. And a third of your audience is going to love you because they love you. They know who you are. They support you. Your closest friends, family, and spouses for the most part. There's a third of the people out there that are just going to hate you no matter what you do because of what you're either. They hate you because of your race, your sex, your religion, what you wear, your height, whatever. They're going to hate you because of your eye color, whatever, because they just have a dark hole for a heart, okay? What we have to do as people is we have to focus on the 33% of people that love us and the people in the middle that don't know us. Right. And forget about the people that out there, that other 33%. Because over time, if you stick to what you're doing and you don't give up and you keep working, that 33% that don't like you, they're going to see that transformation take place. And they're going to come to the other side and say, oh, I used to know him or her when she was this way. It's obvious. If you work, you go to the gym and I work out pretty regularly, and I go to the gym. I see, I always like to go up and high five the people that I know that are brand new to the gym that are struggling. You see a fat guy in the gym, you should not be embarrassed. You should go up and support him because he is working to transform him or herself.
100%.
You know what I mean? But unfortunately, we're not like that. We like to throw mud or talk bad about it. I mean, politics is all sorts of crap. And I think that's one of the biggest things I think we have to see. Not only in schools to help transform our students to be more financially savvy and understand what's going on, what they're getting into, and how to save, and what a home ownership actually means. But we need to see that also at the top of our leadership of this country. And unfortunately, we're not seeing it on either side of the fence, the Democrats or the Republicans. And so I'm a big believer that real estate entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs like yourself and myself, we're the people that have to go out and change America on a regular basis, one speech at a time. And I like to say, we like to make America great again, one defaulted mortgage at a time.
I love it. Amazing. And you're 100% right, man. What keeps coming back for me is how many times, and I see it on the show, it's a recurring theme, in everybody's transformation, they were thinking, feeling, believing a certain way. They were one way, they were, it was the bad stuff, right? And then they became this certain way by working and by stop caring about what other people think. But they got that way because they were living in the reality of what others thought about them. And then they acted according to somebody else's beliefs about them instead of living your truth.
Yeah, we all need a Stuart Smalley in our lives to say, doggone it, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
What a crazy video, dude. What a crazy video. And doggone it, people like me. Like, oh my God. Somebody said that to me earlier this year. They're like, this is your new speech. This is your new keynote. What is that? I'm like, oh my God. Oh,
I think you should dress up for Halloween tomorrow. That would be good. Dress up for Halloween.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Oh my God. For anybody listening right now, as we start to close the show, call in 657-383-1109. Again, 657-383-1109. If you're joining us late, we're here with the Note guy, Scott Carson, who transforms distressed debt into high-performing assets. So as we start to close the show, man, give us some resources. You got your podcast. You said there's some YouTube videos. Give us some resources, man, that people can find you. They can learn from you. You know, you got the workshops. Just lay it all out there.
So if they pull out their phone right now, we have a special thing that we do. If they'll pull out their cell phone and text the word NOTES, NOTES, to 72000, 72000, it'll send them a text back, first name and email address. We'll send them a PowerPoint presentation on kind of the how to find, fund, and flip. We'll also give them a link to over 80 hours of webinars and training for them. That's all free. All right. You can always go to weclosenotes.com. I've got a book that I've written, How to Buy Real Estate at 40% Off. You know, you can Google, if you go out and Google Scott Carson or the Note Guy, you'll find me all across the web. And we just have a huge amount of information out there. weclosenotes.com is my website, but weclosenotes.tv will take you to my video channel where we've got literally thousands of videos and webinars and podcast episodes to help you really binge on the note business if you feel like doing that.
Wow. So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm kind of intrigued, you know, just by listening to you and kind of like not really the process, but like the behind the scenes kind of mindset of it. Like I can totally get into doing something like this because I've always like, man, I'd love to flip a house just to see. You know what I mean? Like just to see, because I watch HGTV, I watch A&E. Like I know who Armando Montalongo is. Like I'd love to do that one time. My wife just looks at me and goes, "Yeah, once, like one time." That's it. You know?
Well, the biggest thing I tell people out there is just be focused. You can't chase. You know, a man that chases the Russian proverb: "Man that chases two rabbits catches none." Be focused. If you're doing a million things, you're not going to be successful on anything. So. You know, take education serious. Look online. There's a lot of great information free available to people out there. And then take one step further and call the people that are successful. Take action and call the people that are actually closing deals and pick their brains. And most of the time, the most successful people are the most available people to you.
Oh, dude, 100%, man. When I got into what I'm doing now, I was like, man, there's no way I could ever, like, I look up to them, and they're like the revered, you know, subject matter expert. Like, there's no way I could ever, you know, speak to Tony Robbins. Like, there's no way I could ever get access to him. And then on my show, I got guys like Greg Reed and Frank Shankowitz and you and, like, all of these badasses that are like, dude, yeah, let's do the show. Bruce Buffer was on my show from UFC. Like, you know, it's like, wait a minute. And so, you know, just contact them like, hey, you know, I'd love 5 minutes of your time, or I'd love to have you on the show, or I'd love to, you know, whatever. Like, yeah, shoot me an email, whatever you need. Really? Like, I could just ask. It's amazing.
It is amazing. We were talking, like, Greg Reed's a good buddy of mine as well, too. I'm the one that actually named his son years ago, Colt. Nice. But that's the thing. When you get successful, that's what people tell me all the time. Man, I don't want to bother you. I think your phone's probably ringing off the hook. I'm like, it's really not. You know, drop me an email, drop me a phone, give me a phone call. I'm glad to spend some time with anybody out there that wants to pick my brain and ask some questions.
Perfect. I love it, man. So as we start to close the show, we always do a shameless plug. You can plug friends, quotes, websites, Facebook, whatever you want to plug. This is your moment. Shameless plug. Go.
The only thing that you guarantee by not taking action is failure. Quote that somebody quoted me on saying on a podcast a while back. So if I could recommend anything else, shameless plug, go out to the website, check us out, weclosenotes.com. We're here to help. We've got a variety of different workshops we do across the country. We are here to help you find, fund, and flip non-performing notes and really help you not only transform your financial situation, but help transform the deadbeat borrowers and people that need a helping hand in today's society.
I love it, dude. So as we start to close the show, can you give us one nugget of knowledge that will motivate, transcend, and inspire someone to take action today?
It's the end of the year. As we're coming to the end of 2018, a lot of us are setting big goals or thinking about our goals for next year because we often gave up on our goals for this year. do yourself a favor. Don't wait till January 1st to do something. Make your January 1st your new year right now, and you'll have a 2-month head start on 2019. You'll make 2019 your biatch and really back yourself up in a good way. So if you want to accomplish something, don't wait till January 1st to jump in the gym. Get started now. Start working your muscles, whether it's that muscle between your head, between the ears, or whatever it is. Take action, and you trust me, 60 days from now, if you're taking constant action, you look back at the first year and be in a whole lot better mind space than you were waiting until the first of the year like everybody else is. So set yourself apart from the pack. Right. Take action. Get started now. Don't wait for success, because success is only there for those that go out and seek it down.
I love it, man. Dude, you're an awesome, badass rock star. Like, dude, thank you so much for being on the show. And dude, you piqued my interest. I'm gonna have to kind of check more into, getting started, because I got a couple years left in the military. I'm building a speaker, mentor, training, entrepreneur training company, but might need to give me a little side hustle too. So
we'll tell you what, Sean. One of the things we do for all past and present military and first responders is comp them into one of our workshops. So I'd be glad to comp you into one of my workshops along with any past or current military out there. It's free. It's a $6.99 class that we're glad to comp them in for free.
Wow. You know what? I'm going to take that into consideration. Is it in Austin?
It's online, so you can do it from anywhere.
Oh my gee, it's online. Okay. I got some people who are transitioning.
Yep.
Veterans need something to do. So if I know of anybody, I'm sending them to you.
We had students from all across the country. We've even had people watch us from Afghanistan, Iraq, Italy, Tel Aviv, Australia. We've had military from all across the globe join us for one of our workshops. So it's there, provide a lot of content, and we just want to help give back to those that have really sacrificed for our country.
That's awesome, man. Wow, that's awesome. Dude, you're amazing, man. I want to thank you for your time and being on Life Transformation Radio.
Thanks for having me.
Life Transformation Radio listeners, an amazing guest, super niche, super rock star, amazing dude. If anything resonated with anything that Scott said, please look him up. WeCloseNote.com. If you've ever thought about getting into any kind of investing, real estate, if you're in the real estate industry or you've been doing it for years, check him out. WeCloseNote.com. Check out the podcast, Note Closers Show podcast. Connect with him. He's doing amazing things. As we close, I always say, live your brand. Find opportunities every day to live out the core values that you hold deep in your heart. And I call this living your brand. So until next episode, live a great life.
Skydiving. This is amazing.
Yeah, but you know what else is amazing? An iPhone 6S for just $49 at Metro.
Really?
Imagine streaming all the way down with that amazing camera. I'm switching.
That's smart.
You know what else is smart? Parachutes.
Switch to Metro and get an amazing iPhone 6S for only $49. Metro by T-Mobile. Phone offer requires port in of number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
5-Hour Tea with caffeine from green tea leaves. It's delicious, energizing, and comes in 3 amazing flavors. With 0 sugar and 4 calories, it fits your life. With its compact size and portability, it goes where you go. To the campsite, the hiking trail, the beach, without weighing you down. 5-Hour Tea. Caffeine from green tea leaves. Release your natural side. From the makers of 5-Hour Energy. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.